I was busy. That's really the only way I can explain what happened. It feels like a lame excuse to explain how I could possibly miss the beginning of what looks like the apocalypse. But in my defense, I was extremely focused with my work. And, okay, maybe I fell asleep, but it was only due to the terrible exhaustion I was feeling. I'm not even talking just about the past 3 months that I've spent on the edge of my seat, on the verge of a breakthrough, or the 5 years of studying extraterrestrial life that brought me here. It felt like I had been exhausted my entire life. In some way, I had been working on this project for as long as I can remember. My parents say that I've been fascinated by the stars since before I could form coherent sentences. By the time I discovered that NASA was a thing, I was certain of what my purpose in life was. I was still a simple teenager by the time I got my first, almost insignificant scholarship to visit the NASA headquarters. But a handful of years later, here I am. My name is Dr. Cameron Blackard. I'm the head scientist here at NASA. I have an office, a confidential project, and a team of colleagues turned friends that are working with me to solve the mysteries of our universe. It was a long journey though. I started out as an intern, then someone's assistant. I got to tinker with spaceship models and give a hand in the design of satellite here and there. Eventually, I finally earned a place in the department I desired my entire life. I was head of a team of scientists analyzing extraterrestrial materials in hopes of finding, among all this rubble and minerals, proof of intelligent life beyond our planet. Just when it finally looked like we had found some type of fossil on a piece of an asteroid, we hit a wall. I couldn't figure it out, and I was losing my mind over it. That fateful day, my closest and dearest friend, partner, and collaborator forced me to face the facts. Jennifer burst into my office, and since we were beyond pleasantries, she went straight to the point. "Cameron, you need a long-ass vacation," she told me. "We can't even dream of vacations right now, Jennifer." I laughed. "This is only a small setback. I know we can figure it out. I just need my entire team." "They're gone, Cameron. I gave them the day off." "You did what? You can't do that," I protested, jumping out of my chair. "Look at you. You look like you haven't slept in weeks. I have no idea when was the last time you went home," Jennifer exclaimed. "You need to forget about that asteroid before it kills you. You need to rest." She had a point. In fact, she was absolutely right. But I was blind. In my mind, it sounded like she wanted me to give up, and I swore I'd never do that. So, overcome by a violent frustration that I'd rather let consume me before fully snapping at her, I simply closed my eyes, tightened my hands into fists, and told her, "Get out of my office, now." I didn't open my eyes until I heard the door of my office close. But when I tried to move, I felt a little dizzy. Apparently, closing my eyes for a second more than necessary made my brain acutely aware of how badly I needed sleep. I couldn't stay mad at Jennifer, not when she was right. Perhaps we could compromise, I thought. I could take a nap on the sofa of my office, and tomorrow, all of us could go back to studying that damn asteroid. I woke up 5 hours later, startled by the fire alarm of the building. Still half asleep, I jumped out of the sofa, grabbed my phone, and ran out of the office, past my laboratory, and into the hallways of the NASA headquarters. What I saw confused me enough to stop in my tracks. There was absolutely nobody there with me. The fire alarm was blaring all over the building, and nobody was running to safety. That's when I looked down at the phone in my hand. It was ringing. It was Jennifer. Jennifer, are you okay? What's going on? I asked her immediately.
Don't worry. I turned on the alarm just to wake you up. I'm glad you were sleeping, but Cameron, I need you to keep calm and walk toward one of the break rooms. The television should be on, and then you'll have to listen to me very closely.
Jennifer said. I did as she told me, but when I reached the television, I couldn't understand what I was seeing. Not until she explained.
Cameron, a deadly virus has been spreading for a couple of days now, starting here in our headquarters. Our superiors tried to keep it under wraps for as long as they could, but the virus got out. People started dying horrific deaths at a breakneck pace. They tried calling for an organized quarantine, but all we got was mass hysteria, which made everything worse. Everyone here has either died or abandoned their places and gone home. You're the only one left at the headquarters, and you know what's been going on.
The alarm was still furiously yelling in the background. The television was showing me frightening, heartbreaking, and at times disgusting images of empty streets, desperate crowds, and dying people. But the last sentence from Jennifer struck a chord in my mind. I'm the only one left here. What the fuck has been going on at NASA? The mission in Mars and the recent rocket launch, I replied in a whisper. But my own voice and the sudden end to the fire alarm broke me out of my daze. The world is ending, and you're asking me to check up on the astronauts? I managed to chuckle.
I'm begging you, Cameron, to try and keep them alive. You're the only one here that can help them.
Wait, what about you? Where are you? I asked, desperately gripping my phone. There was a long pause before Jennifer admitted the truth.
I'm glad you didn't notice. It was missing during an emergency, but I took the asteroid in its container. I felt bad about our argument and I wanted to run more tests, but I found out two bad news. Number one, there were pieces missing. Someone must have been stealing little bits for themselves, for profit, or to take the credit. I don't know, but number two, that must be how the virus spread. Cameron, the virus came from the asteroid.
And the asteroid is there with you?
It's in the container. It's okay.
Jennifer replied, but I could tell her voice was trembling.
Go take care of the emergencies. I'm in our old laboratory. I'll be fine.
Jennifer's tone told me that she had absolutely no faith in well-being, but I refused to accept that. Hang in there, Jennifer. I'm going to make sure our astronauts are alive, and then I'll come get you. We'll solve this. I promise. I tried to act confident, but I didn't manage to end the call. I preferred to have her with me this way the entire time. Then, I ran out of the break room. On the television screen, the death of NASA's director was confirmed. The president announced strict quarantine in the entire country and complete isolation of the entire zone around us. But I couldn't dwell on any of that. My first stop was the control room, where we maintained communication with our men on Mars. Before even entering the room, I could hear him talk to himself.
Hello? Hello? How is no one there? God, are you listening? Am I going to die?
The poor Captain Collins was saying with a voice of clear terror. Hello? I called after pushing the right button.
Finally! What the hell is happening over there?
We have a few problems in... Never mind. Are you okay? What do you need? I asked him. Captain Collins chuckled bitterly.
No, I'm not okay. Do you want a list? The station's temperature is plummeting. This is either something you can fix over there, or you'll have to walk me through the process of repairing the system.
Okay, we can do this, Captain. Okay, breathe. We can do this. I whispered, feverishly, hoping I was right. Even though I failed to solve the issue by myself, I managed to guide Captain Collins through the necessary steps to make the repairs. I had the codes, the manuals, the blueprints of the entire Mars station. I just needed to answer his questions. When I was done there, I heard Jennifer through the speaker of my phone.
"You're doing great, Cameron.
She said, and I could hear her smile.
Don't worry about me, okay? I'm fine. Go check up on the ship."
Following Jennifer's instructions, I made my way to the much bigger communications room where the launch of the ship was supervised. The ship had been launched safely, but they'd been traveling without NASA supervision since the crisis on Earth began. "Hello? Is everything under control over there?" I asked, trying to keep calm, but skipping over the usual formalities.
"Cameron, is that you? What the hell are you doing there? Don't you work with aliens now?"
"Hi, Steven." I sighed, impressed that my old friend could find a way to annoy me, even in these circumstances. "It's more complicated than that. I can't really explain right now. What do you need?"
"A lot.
Steven replied.
I don't think we have any problems, but we've gone hours without a check-in. You need to tell us if our coordinates and stats are looking good, man."
"Let's do it," I said. We got to work, and I somehow managed to avoid telling them that the future of the human race could be in the hands of that ship's crew. Whatever the virus was, things were looking really bad for us here. I wish I could have been on a different planet, but I didn't have time to daydream. The next hours were spent in a tortuous hurry. I had to run from one room to the other, solving problems on Mars and the spaceship as well as I could, and often failing to answer their questions, but at least managing to keep them alive as Jennifer had asked me to do. Jennifer, I had to go find her. The astronauts would have to figure out a way to survive without help from Earth for a while. I ran all the way down deserted hallways, avoiding rooms where I suspected I could find dead colleagues, and I finally reached a pair of big doors with 2 sets of glass windows in them. But when I tried to yank open the doors, I found out they were locked from the inside. That's when Jennifer finally got to the windows. Her eyes were bloodshot. She looked pale as a ghost. I could tell she was sweating, and she didn't look hopeful at all. But her fear ignited a fire in me. I didn't care if I could never sleep again. I didn't care if I wasn't good enough help for the astronauts. I didn't care if trying to save her, I ended up infected too. I had the entire NASA headquarters available to me. I placed my hand on the glass separating us, and I promised Jennifer I would save her. Save all of us if I could. But I wouldn't give up. I would never, ever give up.
My name is Dr. Cameron Blackard, head scientist at the NASA station. If you're hearing this, know that I'm still holding the fort here at NASA. The world may have gone to hell, but I'm not going down without giving it all I've got.